Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans, just naked Ireland. You may remember I created a film a while back on beautiful Connemara on the west coast of Ireland. Well, I'm back in Connemara, this time visiting the amazing coastal town of Clifton. And we'll just give this lady a hand across the road here, and on we go. So we'll drive in and up the main street to let you get an overview, and then as always we'll get out and walk around and take a closer look at everything. The town's located on the Owenglin River, which flows around the outside of the town. We'll see that at the very end of the film as it empties into Clifton Bay and out into the Atlantic. Clifton is in the county of Galway, but it's sometimes referred to as the capital of Connemara. In reality, it isn't the capital of anything, but as you'll soon see, it's really an incredible looking wee town. We're turning now up into Market Street, the main street of the town, and the first thing that you'll notice is the breadth of the street. No thin medieval roadway here, but a spacious shopping street. Clifton wasn't founded until the early 1800s, which perhaps will explain its wide streets. In other words, it doesn't date back to medieval times like other places in the west, such as Galway or Ennis. In fact, it was founded after a John Darcy inherited the estate in 1804. Prior to that, there were only a few fishermen and farmers here. When the first potato crop failure happened in 1821, it ironically served as a catalyst for the expansion of the town, since Darcy petitioned the Dublin government for aid. It came in the form of an engineer, Alexandra Nino, who built a quay here and began a road to connect with Galway. Check out these statistics. By the time of Darcy's death in 1839, the town had grown to 185 dwellings. There were 23 pubs in the town. Imagine 23 pubs to serve 185 dwellings. That's one pub for every 8 houses. Can you believe that? Now that rather 1960s looking hotel there, in its shocking yellow colour, is named after John Alcock and Arthur Brown, two transatlantic aviators who crash landed in a bog near here in 1919, thus having made the first non-stop transatlantic flight. And here's the statue commemorating the occasion at the junction of Market Street and Main Street. They were only slightly injured in the crash landing, but unfortunately, when they later returned to their biplane, the locals had helped themselves to the parts. I imagine the pair of them were livid at the destruction of their plane, and you can just imagine the fancy aircraft parts appearing on carts and farmyard machinery in the area over the following weeks. But they won a tidy £10,000, £1 million in today's money, for their endeavours. Now take a look at these lovely shops and pubs. I mean, it was October when I filmed this, and the sky is completely overcast, but there's nothing dull about these streets. And across the road, at the top of Main Street, we have Foyle's Hotel, looking splendid. And so we walk downwards along Main Street. Now we've seen some lovely towns recently on Naked Ireland. Ennis and Galway, Sligo and Ballina, Westport and Kinsale. But I think you'll agree that Clifton holds its own. Nice wee bar there too, with its pretty green frontage. Another claim to fame that the town has is that this is where Marconi built his first high-powered transatlantic wireless station. So the first point-to-point wireless service between North America and Europe happened here in 1907. And Griffin's Bar looks very inviting too. And you can just see St Joseph's Church in the background there. Now if you're visiting Ireland from abroad, a good idea might be to stay in a small bed and breakfast rather than in one of the big hotels. These are often family run, and it's a good opportunity to have a more kind of intimate stopover. They certainly won't have the luxury of a hotel. In fact, you'll need to check that you have your own bathroom, but you usually get a good breakfast and probably a bit of an old chat with the owners. But it's not all transatlantic flights, wireless stations and nice pubs. Clifton has had its suffering too. It fared badly during the famine in 1847. But in the early 20th century, it also became embroiled in the War of Independence against the British, and then subsequently in the Irish Civil War. After a local man, Thomas Whelan, was arrested in connection with the IRA's assassination of British intelligence officers in Dublin, he was tried and found guilty despite his insistence that he was innocent, and witnesses that attested to his presence elsewhere. But he was hanged. An IRA flying column in Clifton killed 2 RIC constables as a reprisal, which resulted in an event known as the Burning of Clifton. Black and Tans arrived in the town on St Patrick's Day of 1921 and burnt, plundered and murdered. Aside from burning 14 houses, they killed 1 civilian, seriously injuring another. Black and Tans, for those viewing from outside Ireland, were auxiliary police, mostly recruited as unemployed ex-British Army. They had a reputation for being poorly trained, undisciplined and brutal, and were notorious for reprisal attacks on Irish civilians. So we're just coming around to Market Street again now. Maybe this is the ideal time for me to ask you to offer the film a wee like, if it's been interesting or informative, and to try as always to convince you that it's a good idea to subscribe to the channel, and maybe even hit the bell icon to make sure that you get alerted when I next upload a film. Sure, if you're alerted and aren't in the mood to watch, you can just ignore it. But I'd love your support all the same. And guess what? You can also donate to the channel now too, by buying me a pint. But you need to be really impressed, I guess, before you go to that length. But quite a few of you are, and I thank you all for your generosity. To donate, have a look at the description below, and you'll find a link in the second paragraph that'll take you to the donation page. It couldn't be easier. Otherwise, it's always great to have you watching and to read your brilliant comments, so feel free to get involved and tell us what you think of Clifton. And you can see a shop of Aran knitwear across the street. The Aran Islands of course are not far from here, out in the mouth of Galway Bay. So if you need a new sweater or hat, maybe this could be the place to come. Mind you, if you're watching from the US or Canada, I accept it's a long way to come shopping. Again, look at these wonderful shop fronts, as nice as any we've seen. And the colours of the shops are illuminated in all their yellows, blues and pinks, even on a dull day like today. It seems there are no dull days in Clifton. And of course the town is full of lovely places to eat, and some small family run hotels, as well as the bigger ones we saw earlier. And did I mention the pubs? You can, I'm sure, imagine this place on a summer's day, packed with holiday makers and locals, and the crack 90, as we say in Ireland. That's my look around the town complete, and thanks for watching. I'm exiting the town now along the beach road, a lovely drive along the Owenglin River, I mentioned it earlier, and out to Clifton Beach on Clifton Bay. So I hope you enjoyed this wee film, and I hope to see you all very soon, fully subscribed in the next Naked Ireland video.